their gameplay. Granted, we don't really get to see a lot of their gameplay because, like Panda and Kelly said, they have been hollow qualified for every season finals so far. And this time we got to see a little bit of them week 2. They did come out, but I am liking what I'm seeing. 400 damage above threshold. This is not something we saw in the past seasons for them. So the adaptation, they knew they had a hole in their gameplay, and they fixed it.
Especially when you pull zone for Believer Beach here. He's sighting up another window. Every edit that comes through, Arkham responds with a bullet. So you may have your blueprints out, but you have to be careful because someone's looking through the scope. And does he connect? Ooh. No! It must have hit the lip of the board there, Clay. We all sent sniper shots our way that before, but this is Arkham's game. He is a bush bandit, and this is how he operates in getting those storm surge tags.
And it's also terrifying that they have this epic shotgun in Arkham's inventory as well. I know Rex is going to have one. If Rex has one, oh, it's just going to be that much harder for them to take it down. We see Defiable going down. We'll see a lot of names start to fall in one by one. No big real trios going to be fully eliminated. Cloxic there, I believe, operating with Hyper all by themselves as we swap over. We get to see Jelty, we get to see Chicken, we get to see Andy here on the edge of zone.
I'm liking what Jelty's doing right there. We saw Jelty coming in here. He's basically on the south side here, making this rotation. He's just going to scoot on in. He's still on the storm line here, right north of Holly Hatchery. Of course, Jelty coming down from Slurpy Swamps there. I see, oh no, Takada wide, Takada. It gets a by me too, but we're all rooting for Takada. He's one of us, but he still has work to do. Good thing it's a slate of 12 games versus just a normal 6, Clay.
You get to see, though, all this congestion. 40R Storm, the first time we'll get to talk about him. Only them and Epic Whale have made it to every single FNCS finals that has happened. I believe this is their 9th appearance for them. And so the only 2 for NA West, they're here. They're making waves. Arkham's getting an elimination down to Squishy. We haven't even talked about it, but Storm Surge is going off right now. 3 players need to go down. And what's awkward about that is when you're below it, there can also be another team below it. And so even if it's like a solo below it and then 3 people below it, everyone's going to be hit. Everyone. Your entire trio, so you got to be careful about that. Back over to where they've started. They've claimed the top of the hotel. Now moving on through, and this is what I talked about. When Rex has that epic or legendary pump in the inventory, they're just going to pop off.
All right, so I'm on page, 4 of my script here. Yes. Epic Well, Arkham, Rex. Yes. They on top of the tower. For Storm Surge tags, yes. And so far, yeah, they pulled zone, yes. So far, everything going by the script. The only thing is finished is the ending. And I'll be wrong with my prediction. I know Blackbeard's out there for 100 Thieves. Right? My boy Sancho, why did you pick my boys Akram, Epic Well, and Rex to win it all? I'm just saying, man. I want to see something different. That's all I'm saying.
Speaking of different, unfortunately, Caleb is going to go down there. Not when they usually go down early. Chicken gonna get elimination. Wavy Jacob, J Roses, and Regulator based up on that old Guardian Tower. And you're right, it is a beautiful position. You can see everything. And this zone is a little bit awkward. If you look at it when we get a chance to see that map, there's a lot more players on the southwest side of the map than there should be.
Yeah, everyone kind of retreating to Believer Beach, so those known structures here. And you're right, look at that storm line as we saw for a brief second on the mini map. But hey, that just means Jay Rosen right there has some prime real estate, overseeing everything as you see him out in the distance. Regulator as well is up there sending beams along the way. Down below, you see Falcon there and Reed's so close by here. So hey, if a glide comes through, you're gonna see Jay Rosen and Wavy Jacob sending beams their way.
It's gonna be an uncomfortable rotation as we get a nice view of where everyone is. So many players on that northeast side. It's so great. I mean, look at, you can literally draw a circle, a line right through, right? But look, I mean, if this team down here in the bottom, if they just rotate to the northeast, they'll be fine. And this is going to be awkward for a lot of players.
I've been in this position before in very stacked lobbies. The river is going to be something that you can use some cheeky flanks if you want to. And at the same time, the Guardian Tower, it gets messy. If the zone is there, it can be very, very messy considering you cannot break through that. But we're coming into the end game here of game 1 of 6 here for NA West, and we're still seeing the big names still on their feet, still operating together as a trio. And one of those big names is Symmetrical alongside his other teammates Fred Pie and Elitophy.
Yeah, And we saw 40-yard total tavern now going to go down. Symmetrical, Alithy, and Frappe really have to be careful. They're in a great spot, but only 13 damage above, and that is not safe by any means. 8 players need to go down. Tuki, unfortunately, going to fall. We're starting to make our way into that moment where if you don't make a play, it's going to just take down.
Yeah, and this is the kind of the flip side of the coin when it comes to basing up play. If you don't hit your shots, you're going to be below or just on the line of Storm Surge.
And they're looking for it, but they're gonna have to, honestly, for them, this is great that they've got a team that weak below them.
Yeah.
Because that team is looking for Surge as well. You can tell by the immediate SMG spray for them, they have to go down. They're gonna have to work top down, find these players, because if they can, this is great. They've already got 4 eliminations. If they can pick up 3 more going in, this is Symmetrical's bread and butter. If he can get rolling early, it's gonna be hard to stop him, and they could take down Arkham, Epic Well, and Rex, but they have to get off to a great game here.
Yeah, it just showed up with 4 eliminations. You can still be on the borderline when it comes to Storm Surge. That just means, there it is, they get 1 knock right there on Sailor, right there. Symmetrical kind of just slowly inching his way down the builds here, and that's going to be a great move to breathe and get some more knocks. Yes! Huge 2-piece right there, and that's what you want to see. And hey, they were in shambles, Clay. The trio had no shields, nothing to work with, nada.
Oh, but Frappe gonna get taken down by power. This is the downside. That team other side of you needed Surge as well. Frappe going to be left for just unfortunate elimination. Symmetrical gonna get greedy, gonna get sprayed out and sniped. Shots come through down to 7 HP. Has to be really careful with it. I don't even know if they've got a med kit. Look at high ground. They're 1 HP.
And even that as well, even further, Jay Rose has some sights on this. This rotation for the 5th zone, the half and half out. You're going to have to glide right through it. And luckily, that trio's already abandoned that base here. No beam sent their way. Symmetrical is now, and Co is warping as a duo. But that was a great glide considering it was kind of scary for a moment there.
It was indeed. Taltai gonna fall to Jelty to see Storm Surge not going to be activated for this zone. I think just such an unfortunate zone for a lot of players. They end up going down early. K-Nox and Wheels will now follow. But you're right, that was a perfect glide for Symmetrical Companies. Arkham, Epic Well, and Rex seem to be in a little bit of a box fight. They back off for now. We get a nice pan view of everything. Kaichuk, Chicken, and Avail. You'll find that most of the time, they are going to be on high ground.
High ground tends to be winning lately when it comes to thematics of the seasons that we've been having here. We've always had this thing that low ground wins championships, but so far in Chapter 2, Season 7, it has been the high ground, so we'll do our best to keep tabs on that, and you always have to keep tabs from second from height, because with the ability of the launch pad, you could definitely pad up there and cause a ruckus. Chicken, Jelty, and Nashi here, Andy Verga looking really strong with 6 eliminations and 17 points total, and they got 5 peppers, and Jelty's about to get a little spicy, and they even have more than that. I'm expecting a big height retake just using some good old-fashioned builds.
And Arkham's gonna go down.
Wow.
Turf is doing a great job. I think the sniper shot there, they've got to be careful. They have to hold this. This zone is going, and they're going for the revive. They're gonna immediately throw down the floppers. They know they have to invest those heals. They're gonna have to launch pad. It's placed. Epic Will is already, but actually they're just gonna go for it on foot. They're not gonna use the launch pad early. This is gonna cost them a lot of HP. Arkham, I don't even think he's gonna be able to get in. No, I don't even think Rex is gonna be able to get in. Distracted for just a moment. They're gonna go down. They get the knock. Epic Will is gonna make it into zone, but barely.
This is what I've seen. This is literally the only hole in their game. And sometimes at in-game, they're not fighting as a trio. They're usually a duo or a solo here. Yes, they have the stall power. They have what it takes to be able to carry themselves all the way to in-game, even though with less manpower, with less resources, with less weapons. But at the same time, in this kind of stacked lobby, you got to be at full strength.
They luckily are back together. Epic Will in the box with another player down 100 HP. He hit a good shot. If he can hit another one, it's an elimination, and he does. That's great for them. Can they get in the zone? He can maybe get there for 3 HP remaining in the zone. Now down to 23.
Wow,
has enough builds to get back in. Trying to get back there to Arkham. Will hit a nice shot there. Not even using that rapid fire. Has to get out. He doesn't own that box there. And finally, able to get a little bit of reprieve, but still really in zone.
This is first. This is our defending champions here in the first game. Really up against the ropes, about to get knocked down here. And I'm still surprised they're making a lot of free rotations. How is this possible? They're getting this for free.
He's popping a med kit. There's no way he got back to Arkham. Okay, so no, zone's not going to happen. Epic Will and Arkham are finally back together, though. They can fight for the zone. Denial going to come there. SMG, the rapid fire is there. No!
Okay.
Both gonna be taken down. It's gonna be Cool. Of all people, Waze, Cool, and Quinn are operating well on the low ground. They take down defending champs, but look who's on the high ground. Hydrex, Chicken, and Mechton, they are operating well, but Jelty, Chicken, and Andy are here. They've got 6 eliminations. They've got the heal off.
Yes, and they have the pepper, so they're going to be moving and cooking on the low ground. And they're going to be very difficult to ult, because when it comes to the pacing, you're trying to track a player. When they got that pepper power, Jelty is going to be able to cut off a lot of people, making the rotation, especially on this mid layer here. Now they're going to have options, Clay. They can either go up high and take shots down below, or they can double edit and take on everybody that's kind of at their feet here. I love this position right here. What a great game one from Jelty.
Quinn, Cool going to go down. Regal fall there as well. MG operating, taking down so many players. The Falconer still operating. Andy all of a sudden down to 9 HP. They do have the Chug Cannon, so you'll be able to go back up a little bit. You don't need the Chug Cannon this early. You need to recharge. Falconer now going to fall. Wavy Jacob J. Rose is going down there to Jelty. They're picking up so many eliminations. Currently sitting on 8 right now. Going in, there's still 10 eliminations up on the board. If they could pick up just a handful of those, it is such a great game for them overall. Doesn't matter where they end up. These placement points, these Elam points are so great. Look at high ground though. Jelty trying to go for it. It's setting up just a nice little position. Honestly, they're distracted right now. They don't have any builds. They can't. Jelty's gonna go for it. Andy, Chicken, and Jelty should have the high ground right now. Jelty gonna secure it.
Yes, there it is. They have the high ground, and because of the bounce back, they have a lot of old builds to operate as Tar takes a knock against Kenji. Kenji and Xen Beast there going toe-to-toe, back and forth, extending the blows, but at height, it is Jelty representing with Andy Verga and Chicken, and look at that madness down below. They're slinging Slaymakers play. They're about to take each other out, and Jelty may walk away with the victory royale here.
And look at Andy, great shots there, gonna take down Chicken. They're the only full trio remaining. All they have to do is drop down together and they're gonna win. Jelty going up to make sure they got the heal off. Me Too down here as well with Beast. They've got a Chug Cannon as well. Look at how many more loot they have though. They've got access to a lot. It's a 3v2 though, now dropping on down. This looks like it's gonna be them. They're setting up for the heal off. But when you have 3 players up above setting up for it, it's gonna be that much harder because those 2 players, Chicken and Andy, are gonna start to drop down. Jelty is full committing to that high ground heal off. And now Me Too and company have got to just hold on. They're trying. If they can take down Andy and Chicken, they have an opportunity. But look, they're waiting to the last second. Now they're trying to find those players. That player went back in his zone trying, and Andy's gonna try to sniff him out. Will they be able to find him? Both of them went all the way back. It seems like they have a double Chug Cannon, but Jelty had out Kid up on the high ground. Me Too may be able to find something, trying to look for floppers, cabbages, anything there. Jelty just holding on. Andy and Chicken down. It's up to Jelty. Does he have? He does. Me Too gonna go down. Beast gonna go down. Jelty holds on for the first victory of the day.
Vamos Jelty alongside with Chicken and Andy Verga getting their first victory royale here in a great fashion. Wow, what a great start to NA West. A fan favorite taking the first VR there, Clay.
And that is great for them. They needed a hot start. They came out at a lot of elims, able to secure that high ground away. And we've said it, high ground does in fact win games. But will it win in the tournament? We'll have to see. We're gonna have to throw it back over to Zeke, Kelly, and Panda to break it all down.
Oh man, that was really stressful.
Wow.
I did not like anything that just transpired there. Jelty showing masterful control there. Just understanding, like, being able to keep calm and serene in that moment, knowing exactly what you have to do, how to move through builds, thinking back to eliminations you saw, where the loot might be. Wow, I mean, that's not me. I'm not doing stuff like that. I'm like, what do I do? Ah, ah, and then I'm eliminated, so it's gone.
I mean, I feel like there was a moment where they kind of were like that. Jelty technically won by a heal off, right? And that always, when you get into that set, you aren't totally sure what kind of loadout the enemy team has. Me Too, Cars and Beasts could have easily had Chug Cannons, could have had the heal off potential there. So I'm not saying that it came down to the luck, because Jelty's team there did an incredible job taking height from Kytrex's team. And we have to look back though to the beginning here with Notch, Lush, and Tuki having a bit of a contested drop spot.
Yeah, and a big shout out to this team. They did very, very well leading up to this point, and now they show that they can be contested and still be successful. Now, though, here it is, those final moments that we just watched with Jelty barely surviving through the heal-off. I tried to identify where they were and then ultimately walking away with it, which led them to now being in first place. So big shout out to Timbers Chicken, Andy, and Jelty for taking that with 10 eliminations.
Whew. 10 eliminations to start it off, but look at all the teams that have 10 eliminations here. Cars, Beast, and Me Too, who are running down on the low ground there, doing an incredible job. Fabs, Kenshi, and Snacky, who were kind of staying on the back end of zone. I think that it was just a duo, Kenshi and Snacky, for quite a while there. So really taking advantage of an unfavorable position. This is why they're constantly in our top 3 for the grand finals there. But, you know, I'm seeing a team, and they're all the way at the bottom, Panda.
Yeah, and look at that. There they are. Arkham Rex, Epic Whale, not at the top of the leaderboard. But remember, in past seasons, they haven't been at the top in the beginning. So there is so much room for them to come back. But we got to shout out Falconer, Reed, and Chris, doing an exceptional job there in game number 1. If they can maintain some consistency with what they were able to do in that game, we'll see them continue to climb this leaderboard. Now, though, we got to talk about 11th through 20th, because there are, again, so many great teams that we watched perform there, and one of them being Tuki, Lush, and Notch, who won their off-spawn engagement, but ultimately didn't get the placement points that they really needed to climb the leaderboard a little bit more.
Yeah, just winning, you know, a drop spot contention right off the start, it could give you the storm surge tags that you need, but it also puts you in a risky position to get third-partied if you might not have the best loadout because you just use a lot of your resources and builds there. So there's, you know, pluses and negatives to having a contested drop spot.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is, but you know what? We got to break down some of the action. We got to give you our analysis of some of the stuff that took place here in this game, because there was so much going on, starting with these contested drop spots. One of them being Dirty Docks. We saw Gremlin's team go up against Temple's team here in this fight, and Temple ended up walking away on top.
Yeah, I was quite surprised. They kind of split, even though that they knew that this was going to be a contested drop spot here. So unfortunately, Temple's team kind of got split up a little bit and had to face off against the team as a duo instead of having the full trio there. But as you can see, a lot of these players were kind of taking shots off of each other. I think they actually went down to a 2v2 at one point in the fight.
Yeah, I definitely don't think either team was playing together, and it ultimately resulted in Jaquan's team going down here early, which is the last thing they want to have to deal with. So, look, things like that happen. You have to kind of come away from that game 1, identify the mistakes that you made, come back game 2 stronger, better, and ready to take on this fight again.
Yeah,
And
I also think...
Go ahead. No, go.
I was just going to say that I think FJA's team is probably going to stick together in this next drop spot. I think with it just being game number 1. Game number 2, they're not going to change up their drop spot, but we're definitely going to see them being a lot tighter.
That's basically what I was going to say. See, this is why these guys are the brains. That's all. You heard the beep beep, which means we're going in. This is game number 2 of NA West. Let's get in back into it. The sun shows squared. There it is. And Clay. Prince?
This is where Rex, Epic Whale, and Arkham, they get a majority of their kind of eliminations here in-game, but the way they do that, Clay, is they sit and they try to put pressure on the backside of Storm, and you cannot do that if you're not strength. But hey, more on that later, because Jelty is being contested by Fabs, and Jelty gets pushed to the skies here, and they're so high up. This is so scary. The inflatable comes out. Oh, he survived for a moment. No, he gets taken out there. Andy Vettergod's going to have to do all that he can to wrap up as many placement points as possible. I can't believe he caught that power on the down low. He gets taken out of the sky, gets slapped. More on that later, because Jelty is being contested by Fabs, and Jelty gets pushed to the skies here, and they're so high up. This is so scary. The inflatable comes out. Oh, he survived for a moment. No, he gets taken out there. Andy Vettergod's gonna have to do all that he can to rack up as many placement points as possible. I can't believe he caught that pad on the down low, and he gets taken out of the sky. Gets
People are being gate kept out. Look at that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trios inside of the zone right now.
And then one thing to note too, while you're looking at this map, any area where you kind of see the gray on it, that is a change in verticality that is super steep. That denotes like a swift change in the mountaintop. So you can see already that we have 3 trios who are posted up right in the internal, already occupying the 3 key high ground areas. Everyone else is going to be packing in around the outside and just hoping to control whatever amount of space. But one of those trios who's already up there are first place, going for the 4 in a row, trying to toss 5x in the name, the 100 Thieves duo, Arkham and Rex Energy's epic whale, and they're just throwing shots away. And right now, they don't seem too worried. They have a great priority positioning. The half and half out could drop right on top of their head. There's not really a ton of space between them, and I think they've isolated a solo. Arkham's trying to line up the shot.
Ooh, just gonna miss it. They show below for now. We'll wait and see when that updates. They're gonna be 69 above. They should be okay-ish. They're gonna need to get some more tags because that's not safe by any means, but they are good.
Yeah, and it's 15 players right now who could potentially end up going down in the Storm Surge. And what we saw in the last zone as we got there is the aggression came out now before Storm Surge ended up turning on. So lots of shots being traded out because the teams who are below don't really want to wait until the pressure's on them. So you can see Jelty, Chicken, and Andy only 16 damage above. And with so much kind of line of sight in trees in different areas that you're safe here, if you don't already have your surge points, you're basically looking for tags on people who are also looking for surge. So you're just going to end up trading it back and forth. You can see box by Jaquan down to just a sliver of HP as FJA also being back up. Wheat and Co trying to look for a little bit of space as Falconer and Chris trying to get wall to wall. They're 79 below. Don't forget they're in 3rd place. They're that horse who's just now kind of rounded the bend and hoping to get there, but he was able to get a knock on the box by Jaquan. But I think they need to find the confirmation on the backside as Epic Whale able to pick up a knock onto Rengoku in the feed. That's on the top left-hand side. Quinn gets a finish onto Jaquan. We're going to swing on over. It's the 2nd place trio as they are 318 above, but all of a sudden you can see Snacky is down fast. He's able to create a little bit of room. Storm Surge is hammering down on the team who's right above them, but they are as far away from that zone as possible.
And Rex just ended up getting knocked there in the feed. We've definitely got to keep our eyes on that and see what happens. Our first place trio getting taken down, maybe a peg or two. No, Arkham gonna get back in it. Epic Whale still gonna get finished off there. And I don't know if it's just Arkham left or if Rex is there. No, Rex is down as well. So it is just Arkham left.
Yo, give me the Arkham cam. Observers, where you at? If he's on his feet, we want to see it. If not, yeah, there it is. Thank you so much. 3 eliminations. Already have that first +5, but this could be the first time we see one of the top 2 really falter and fall outside of that 2nd placement threshold. Because something we were talking about with Fabs, Kenshi, and Snacky is even in their absolutely awful games, they were inside the key placement threshold, able to just eke out the points, getting that 23rd place, getting that 17th place in the match number 1 here. The Arkham able to trade a big 175 tag. That was Chicken who ended up taking that, but it's going to need to then invest into the resources. We know the zone pull is going super far south. That's a decent change falling off the verticality, but in general is a little bit more of a favorable area. As you can see, Arkham just trying to have a little bit of room. If he can stay up on his feet, Storm Surge is off. One more trio needs to go down until he gets his +3. But the reality of the situation is we've seen these guys do some incredibly absurd thing. The solo impact score from each individual on this trio is nuts at any given time, and that's the amount of points they're able to accrue when they're in these kind of solo situations. And we'll see what the zone pulls, and he got a pretty good pull clip.
Luckily they did, and honestly, we saw him going for those storm surge tags on the Chicken. Anytime you're a solo, anytime you're a duo, any tags you get are so great. Puts you in such a good spot, and in actuality, he's not going to have to worry about surge for his next moving zone. 100 builds as well will put him in a great spot. But again, they've got 3 elims, Fabs and Company got 2. They still are up an extra 2 points on them coming into this game. What can Arkham find, though? He's going to be able to recycle that launch pad, which will be great for them. He's going to take a bit of damage rotating through, but we'll be able to fly right into zone, get him as far ahead as he can. And honestly, just interesting that he chose to go to the side.
That was a horrible decision. I'm sorry. He could have been able to get to the side. It was weird that he tried to land directly on top of somebody for a box there. I think he ended up missing out on a placement threshold there too, but generally you expect a lot better from Arkham in that situation. Yeah, they were outside of that top 17, so for the first time, pretty much, literally in the entire tournament that we've had the 4X, the champions coming through and dropping outside of that first placement threshold. And now is an opportunity for Snacky, Kenshi, and Fabs to really push forward, open up that lead for Reed, Chris to be able to push forward and try and put their name in that path to the top 2. But the reality of the situation is we want to stick with these guys and we want to see what they can do, because if they're able to stretch out that lead, things get real interesting going into the final 3 games.
They're above Surge. They got a good amount of mass and area to work with. They're going to drop on down. Krycheks will fall. They're going to claim that mid. Now moving all the way to low ground. Can they find it? Can they operate on the low ground? That'll be what they have to figure out, because we've seen them time and time again on the high ground and in the mid ground. But dropping all the way down here, will they be able to find the same success that they've had on the high ground?
It'll be interesting because they haven't necessarily been operating there, but they have a great loadout for it. As you can see, that epic SMG box to box, when you're like 2 boxes away, it just rips it to shreds. Doesn't matter if it's those hard builds, if it's the wood, it will tear through. As you can see, some plays being made on the backside of the zone. Is Snacky able to pick up 1 Elim, but can he get the return? He's just barely enough HP with the Siphon, just barely taking over. You can see a cleanup coming through. Cabbages being pushed into him. They're trying to get shields down first, knowing that the Siphon will end up coming through. He's going to start popping the Cabbages. He will leave a med kit back there, though, so a little bit of a fumble risky. The placement points continue taking over, and don't forget, they have now taken over that first place spot. Epic Whale, Rex, and Arkham went down. They got an okay number of eliminations, but weren't able to get inside of that top 17, as now we have our top 12 trying to push into the top 10. 8th zone about to close here in 22 seconds. Kenshi picking up enough in the feed. He's also able to get the confirmation. Snacky doing a great job, honestly, working box to box and just grabbing away whatever damage he can, even with, I think he accidentally has 2 bumps in there, but it doesn't matter. He says, I'll hit the damage of 190, and immediate reset takes down Notch. That was huge.
This is a great game to separate that lead back into their favor. They're getting so many eliminations, but Falconry and Chris are still here as well. They're operating. Kenshi going down. They've got to be careful. High ground. Won't know exactly who's on it, but look at how many eliminations they have. Kenshi and Fab's going to fall, though. They sit on 6. Snacky, can he get more than 2? Can they find any extra room to operate? Either way, that's still a lot of eliminations. Look at Jelty, Chicken, and Andy up on the high ground, though. They want to win another game. They want to get back up. They were in 7th place with everyone going down in front of them. This is their opportunity. Snacky going to drop down. 157 is going to get the knock. That may be an Elim. It's going to be on to Reed. What a big Elim it was. Going to pick up the Chud Cannon as well. Has time to heal back up. Does he have the match? No pressure is there. He's going to get another one. That's going to be on to Chris. He says, you want to take first place away? Well, you're going to have to work harder than that. He's taken down first, and he took down second this game, and now looking so great.
That was a monstrous swing, both from the direct contention going through and just guaranteeing points. Jelty will secure their 2nd victory royale so far out of the 12 games. Match 1 and then match number 9 going through to put them back in. But man, what a run and a push there from Fabs, Snacky, and Kenshi to really, they're in 1st place spot now. We talk about tournament management, 3 games left going in. They've created a decent amount of separation. The question now, can they hold on and upset the typical apple cart in NA West?